There we go. See, we didn't even record that.
Oh, that's too bad.
Oh, excuse me. Well, is there any questions before, I don't know what my phone, how many people do we have in the waiting room, Lynn?
8.
Oh.
Darlene Smith, Jennifer Kierkert, John, oh, I can't get anybody's name. John, Maureen, Phyllis, Roslyn, and Scott. I gave up.
Wonderful.
Sorry.
It's all good. That's like Josh and I on last week's chamber chats when it came out like, we've got 2 Andrews, a Jim, and a Bob.
Yep.
It's still my favorite comment. I feel like we're as ready as we're ever gonna be. I've never felt like I needed to read from a script so much though.
So I believe I went through your notes, Michelle. Anything should I be awry on, just give me a nudge and I will get the correct thing up. But there's not too many slideshows or things to juggle, so feel pretty good.
Me too. Compared to what we usually are juggling back and forth, I'm like, I think we've got this one good. Everybody pee, everybody good?
As good as it's gonna get.
Just
I
wearing
think-
pants.
It's not gonna be that long. It's
Not yet.
Well, just before we go into this crazy train, I just want to say I am so proud and thankful for every one of you. Sincerely from the bottom of my heart. You know, when you look at this small team of what we've accomplished, it is extraordinary. And I know a lot of us sit on other boards and are involved in other organizations, and I've heard every one of you saying it independently. But as we come here tonight for our annual general meeting, I'm not even sure what year of an annual general meeting it is. That one I was uncertain of, but I know we formed in 1998. So if we've done all of our AGMs,
oh gosh.
then I think that makes us 23. Am I right? Did I do that? Did Google do the math for me, right?
Math and math.
I'm also pretty sure we didn't do an AGM last year, did we?
No, we did
Well,
not.
actually,
No.
Josh, we did,
We did.
but I don't think we formally recorded it. We just determined that earlier.
And we didn't present financial statements.
Correct.
We did. I think.
Was I there? Did I
It was-
miss it?
It was in September. I have the agenda. I have all the things sent before. Nothing after. No meeting notes, no nothing. It's like right up into the day. Like there's like Eventbrite links, there's everything. And then it just doesn't exist.
But you remember having it, like it did happen?
Like
Have you
I don't specifically
Oh, okay.
really
No.
like
I don't think it did.
but everything right up until September 22nd, the day of, everything was live. Like,
so odd.
Yeah.
I'm appreciating you a lot right now, Tosh, because we went through this an hour and a half ago, Paul and I and Maria and Lynn, super perplexed because one of the first things that we do have to do is the approval of the minutes. Of course, we didn't distribute minutes. So basically the statement is going to be that there is no minutes recorded, but there had been.
like there's
So-
a Eventbrite link, there's correspondence about it happening and no proof that it happened. And I can't remember it. There's if you go on our Facebook page, there's the event for September 2020.
It's like the Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
It's like we just got sucked into
Did
a
I-
sphere.
We got abducted by aliens that day.
Yeah. Just that one day. Yeah.
I really have nothing, and I think it's funny that all of us are sitting there with that, but we're okay for tonight. So
Yeah.
All right, it's 6:31. I
Yeah.
will start letting people in. You guys good with that?
Yeah.
All right, we are gonna go.
good evening, everyone. Just getting everybody logged in here. It's nice to see lots of smiling faces. On a sunny East Coast day. So we're using a regular Zoom meeting this evening versus a webinar format. So in a couple of minutes, I will go over a few guidelines to help us through a productive meeting. Considering I'm looking at the lovely participants, I think we'll have a wonderful productive meeting. I'm pretty sure everybody on here's had 1 or 2 Zooms in the last week.
That's for sure.
Right? Excellent. Lynn, do you want to give it? Yeah, Darlene, that's a good comment. Lynn, is there anybody else in the waiting room right now?
I'm just checking. I don't see anyone, but I'll keep an eye on it. Should anyone stroll in a little bit late, and I'll pop them back in.
Wonderful.
Okay.
Well, in the spirit of keeping things on time for this evening, here we are, May 31st, 2021. And I would like to say good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Michelle Alcorn, and I'm the chair of the Albert County Chamber of Commerce. It's my extreme pleasure to convene and open the 2021 Annual General Meeting. I want to thank everybody for taking their time out of their schedules to be here. And we know that it's a busy time for meetings for all of us. We'll be our best to keep ourselves diligent and move through the agenda that we've planned for you this evening. I can tell you our team has worked very hard to get this pulled together. I know COVID-19 has certainly made things interesting for us all, but it's also made us have the opportunity to get together a bit more conveniently from home. So thank you all for taking this time. I'm going to go over a few details for this evening, just to let everybody know what is going to happen and how we will move through the motions. Today's meeting is going to include some live participation, as we are right now, but we're also going to be having a few recorded sessions and a few presentations that have been prepared to celebrate the highlights of the year. So as a participant, you'll notice that everybody, when they come in, your microphones have been muted. Thank you very much for our moderator, Lynn, and the team at Cyber PR Army to help us out this evening. And we will be asking, the chat box is open. And this evening, as we moderate through the evening, if you have any questions, please make sure that you do outline them in there. When we do call for a motion, we are asking, because there will be a presentation screen on, so we won't be able to see all of your lovely faces at that time. We are asking that if each one of you will be able to put, if you want to do a first or a second motion, to please put it in the chat box. And once that is complete, Paul Bass, one of our board members, will be calling out those names for us to be put on record, which this is being recorded, as we know, but we also have Maria Much, our talented administrative support, who's going to be here making sure we're keeping notes. So as I said, if we could just put those into the chat box, and if there is any questions, we'll make sure that those can be addressed as we go along. So the first order of business that I get to do this evening is to formally open up our meeting, and a motion for an approval of the agenda that has been circulated. So I will now need a member to move and second this motion to approve today's agenda as presented. So Paul, do you want to review those motions out loud for the group?
Okay,
I'll move to, I'll move to, as a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Maria
Great.
motioned and Darlene Smith has seconded.
And if there is anybody opposed, please also put that into the chat box. So motion carried. Thank you. One of the bylaws, we also have to establish quorum. Our bylaws state that we must have a minimum of 12 members present to constitute quorum. And I am very proud to see that we have exceeded that for our membership. And such, I declare this meeting duly constituted. So we'll move on to item number 3, which is going to be the approval of the minutes. We did not have a recorded annual general meeting in 2020. So we have that from 2019. We did host a meeting. We don't have the record of that. So there will be no minutes to present from the 2020 AGM this evening. So we do need a motion to accept that we are not presenting minutes from our previous AGM. So I need to call for someone to motion that and
So
someone to,
I'll make a motion, Michelle. So it's actually, I'll motion as per that, the minutes were not recorded for the previous due to COVID. It was done verbally. So I'll move a motion because there aren't minutes to approve for the meeting.
correct. And I'll ask for a seconder. Thank you, Tosh Taylor. And now the next item of business will be the report from the president. I do want to open to address from our annual general meeting from last year and the minutes from recording. There's been a lot of changes that we have done over the past year. And in doing that, our team has pulled together and we will be able to submit if people are looking for our historical minutes. Those will be available probably by the end of next week for anybody who is on here and is looking for the minutes because they have been recorded. So I just wanted to make sure that that was stated. So again, I want to welcome everybody to our annual general meeting. And it's been a year. It's been a year of things to celebrate. It's been a year of things to move forward. I'm not sure, Lynn, if there was a next slide forward on that. I'm trying to remember my slide deck myself. The year that we couldn't predict was this year. It was a year where you're on mute became a saying that none of us thought was going to be coming available. It's a year where we didn't have an opportunity to be together. But I'll tell you one thing, in Albert County, we celebrated 175 years of being here and celebrating our communities. And throughout the year, and I know that you're not going to be able to see this visually, I know that we've often talked about the distributing of our Albert County 175. Tosh Taylor, my amazing vice president, you hear us frequently discussing that in our chamber chats each week. And we feel that the Albert County Chamber has done an amazing job this year of getting together to celebrate what does very well in our county. There's a saying that we hear often is the tide rises all boats the same. And we know that very well because the tide is very near and dear to our hearts. Every 12 hours we have a gift. And as that tide rises the boats, not all of them have a boat captain. Some of the boats are in disrepair and not all of them have an opportunity to leave the dock. But I can tell you that in Albert County, we have a lot of people that will stand there to make sure that that ship does get to leave the dock at least 12 hours later if the opportunity arises. And I think this chamber took the time over the past year to celebrate victories and to add new programs and things that would allow our members to adapt to what COVID has brought to us and allowed us to be serving our customers with the same level of excellence as few as some of them were, or as global as many of them have come. Our region is rooted with a national park, several provincial parks, Route 114 that leads people through, as we often say, it sparkles with diamonds, as Tosh has been quoted in Mark. What we want to say is we're going to continue to sparkle with more diamonds throughout this year. We know about the local products and services that we've had an opportunity to highlight, and my colleagues this evening will go over in the reports some of the amazing things that we've had. But I want to highlight that we've had an amazing Buy Local campaign. We've had new member benefits that have exceeded benefits that we've had previously. We have a student workforce placement program that was put into place to help individuals that we're very proud. We have Jacob Jacobson from UNB that is working with us and continues to work with us for a student workforce placement program. This program has brought more opportunity for businesses in our region to hire students. We have new insurance programs. We have our existing insurance programs that come from the Atlantic as well as the Canadian Chamber And there's additional benefits that have gone out this year to support each and every one of our members as they had to adapt and be innovative during such a time frame. We have our Chamber Chats weekly call that Tasha and I get on, that we are there to highlight what's going on in the region. And we want to hear from you. And we want to continue this year to talk about the incredible opportunities that we have. The town of Riverview in this region has faced the bridge closure, which I think we've overcome. And we are doing very well with, and our businesses continue to thrive. We have many businesses throughout this year have showed expansion. Holy Whale is one that comes to mind that is now hosting 3 locations in our region. And we have many others that we will highlight this evening. The 2021 awards were some of our biggest and best, and we're excited to do a highlight reel on that. So what I want to say as we move on this evening, we will continue to celebrate what we do well. We will live in the present, and we will plan for the future, but we will absolutely continue to celebrate our past. So what I'd like to maybe invite Lynn is, we've got a brief video that was, we'll go through a little bit of our highlights from our show, and then afterwards we've got a video to share. Jacob Johnson, our student, presented our awards and talked about industry. And we want to talk about our winners. We've got a lot of businesses that we've highlighted. Broadleaf Ranch, Wendy, I see you on there. I can't see everybody's faces. Continue to be a supporter, sponsor, and a leader as a business of the year. Anik from Tourism, AB Tourism, on our board, as well as a leader. Thank you so much. And I do believe I saw Mark from Wood Research and Development on there. So we would like to really call out any of those individuals that have come out throughout the year and are coming out this evening. So I feel like I want to name everybody on there for now, but we'll move on to celebrate them as we go on. The event analytics this year, with the work that we've done with Cyber PR Army, Jazz Fest, and other volunteers that came out, and the work that Jacob and others surrounding, I can tell you that our reach has never been stronger than ever. You'll see that we have more analytics coming from other areas, and we have people that, as we all know, are already hiking, biking, and walking our trails. So we're looking forward to making sure that more people are coming to do that this year. So what does it mean for our county? It means that we have more individuals that are seeking to stay home and experience here in Atlantic Canada. So I want to thank again to all the business sponsors that continue to step up during a time frame that we know was tough to ask. But I can tell you, Tosh and I and Anik and Paul led up a team of people asking, and we didn't need a lot of no's. So we want to say an extra thank you to all of the individuals that have done that. Lynn, if you could share that.
I will. I'm going to open it right now and pop it over to the screen so you guys can see that. Just give me a second here. Can you see this video with the logo?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Hopefully you can hear it too, because that's the fun part.
Oh, we don't have the sound.
Oh, the sound is the best part. That's okay.
And I'm certainly not going to sing.
That's okay.
But take a few minutes and have a look at these beautiful awards and how we stayed safe through this year. There's Lynn there. And again, I thank you to our incredible sponsors. There's Holy Whale enjoying their own libations. Albeit I feel like I could narrate through most of this. One of my favorite things is to see the pictures of our county. And behind us, David Briggs standing there, which has moved from Riverview down to Hillsborough. And all of these individuals standing out in the community, ready to represent Town of Riverview. There we go. A good cheers on the front yard with Ruth. Wendy definitely was enjoying her evening that one. I think, Nick, you had a lot more fun delivering those bags.
Yeah, it was a good day. A good
And
couple
Paul.
days. It was fun.
And there's the sound.
I was trying to get it the whole time. Then at the last second, I got it. So get 3 seconds of what I was enjoying.
There we go. Well, maybe at the end, we'll see if we can throw that in as we do our closing comments through there. Thank you so much. Just want to review the agenda for a minute. So I'm gonna invite Jazz in a few minutes to do our treasurer report, of which we'll need a motion. After that, we will have reports from Josh, our vice president, and our bilocal report, Lynn, our secretary, and Nick from our regional connectivity. We'll also do our resolution of our board actions. We're going to do our nominations report, and we're very much looking forward to John Wishart to be our guest speaker tonight from the Chamber of Commerce for Greater Moncton. And then we'll have a few closing comments, and we'll have everybody be able to wrap up and then go enjoy their evening. We probably should have invited everybody down to Holy Whale afterwards. So that being said, I would like to now ask Jazz Shukla, our treasurer, to give an overview of our 2019 and 2020 financial reports.
Great. Thanks, Michelle. And hi, everyone. Thanks for joining. If I haven't met you yet, my name is Jazz. I'm going to go through 2019 and 2020 since we don't have the minutes from last year's meeting. Thought it would be good to recap those 2 years. So 2019 is up there on your screen, and you can see in terms of the revenue, we had membership fees. We did have an in-person awards dinner gala in 2019. So you see the gala meals, gala sponsorship, as well as the income from insurance and the first data admin fees, and a little bit of revenue we've categorized under other revenues. So that was $20,910 in 2019. In terms of expenses, we did not have a part-time hire yet in 2019, so the wages are not there, but we do have subcontractor fees, and so that's what you see down in general and admin. And you see some of those other expenses there too: website, donations, courier, insurance, interest and bank charges, and the trophies as well that we give out after people have won their awards. And so you see that we came out with 2019 with a net income of $3,405. And let's go to 2020 now. So we have similar categories, slight changes, which I'll go through. So membership fees, gala sponsorship. We did have a virtual gala. So that was the first year doing a virtual setting for the awards. And so we had some fees from there, as well as our insurance and government grants. We applied for grants in 2020. So you see that number there, and the first data admin fees as well. So our income for 2020, you see there is $21,000. And then we did have a part-time hire in 2020, which helps us a lot in terms of managing our admin, managing our meetings, as well as the awards, and getting out the word and the message more in terms of what's happening with the awards in Albert County. So you see there, we have our wage and salaries and deductions, so CPP, et cetera. And then accounting and legal, website, insurance, interest and bank charges, and the trophies again to deliver to our winners. So you see, even despite all the challenges we had in 2020, I think we still had a pretty good year, and we had just a slight deficit there with 1,600. Those are our reports for 2019 and 2020. So may I have a motion to adopt the 2020 unaudited financial statements as presented?
Paul Bass moves and Lynn seconds.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jazz. If there is any questions, please ask. I would like to say that the adjustment in our membership, we didn't net lose a lot of members last year. Maria and I were reviewing that earlier. We did have some members that were not able to renew, but are hanging in there. I can tell you that adding Maria Much, who's leading up administration and finance with us, and having Jacob Johnson for the first time ever as dedicated staff members continuously to the chamber this past year has made a huge difference. And you'll continue to see with the strategic plan and items that we have moving forward that we are looking at efforts to continue to make that strength to continue to serve our members moving forward. And one note, we do have 15 new members that have joined since January of 2021. So I'm going to give a sneak peek ahead of next year's report. So we're already gaining. So thank you very much, everybody, for the support. Thank you, Jazz. I am very excited to introduce a video for our next time. She who's usually speaking lots, our amazing Vice President, Tosh Taylor, in her exceptional form has recorded a video for us, and she's going to give a report as a Vice President, also a report on what has been going on with our Buy Local campaign. So please move forward to Tosh.
I'm going to get this started. Please let me know that you can hear it okay. I think I fixed the system sound. All right. Oh, no, I'm just gonna play the same thing over again. Let me try again.
The sound worked.
Hi, I'm Tosh Taylor, current Vice President
You can
of
hear
the
that?
Albert County Chamber of Commerce.
Yes.
And for my Vice President report, we had a really quiet but extremely exciting year this past year. 2020 for the Albert County Chamber of Commerce was a year of a lot of us realizing we're bigger than we know we are, and just how absolutely amazing Albert County is. And it was so nice to be able to sit as Vice President and watch all of these things happen. I'm very proud of the Chamber and the moves that we made over the past year. I also am the chair of the Buy Local campaign that we have throughout the Albert County Chamber of Commerce. So our Buy Local campaign obviously focuses on buying local. And a few things that we did, just because of the strange year that we had, more focused on our awards. So I'm going to start with that. When talking about our Business Excellence Awards, we really focus local on those, and we make sure that the gifts that we're providing to our winners, right down to our awards, are provided by local businesses. We're purchasing first through local businesses, and it's even when it comes to years where we do it in person, we're making sure it's done at a local venue so that they're making something off of it as well. So some things that we did do, of course, was the restaurant campaign this year, where we asked all of our local restaurants to provide a special meal for the night of the event so that they could order and have their meal while watching the awards, which was super amazing. Tipsy Tales Restaurant jumped on board with that, with a really great meal option. And then, of course, we offer them as much exposure as we possibly can through our social media accounts. Another thing that we did was our gift bags, of course, Holy Whale Brewery, Scows, Scott's Gourmet Sauces, throwing in this amazing stuff in the basket. Chris Colpaul, an amazing local musician, throwing in CDs as well. And the town of Riverview providing the reusable bags to provide all of these gifts in, which is absolutely amazing. And of course, we can't forget Herb and Joy for throwing in that tea in there too. So a big thank you to all of them. And that's just one of the ways that we support local. A few other things that were brought to our attention were just different ways to support local businesses or our members. And I had a few talks over the year. If you scoot on over to the town of Amherst, they actually have their own website set up where their members can sell stuff through their website, which I thought, hey, that's a really cool idea. So I reached out and had a meeting with the town of Amherst about their design and thought it was a great idea. And then the town of Riverview has their R-Card system. And I had a meeting with them to see about extending the R-Card down the 114 and into more of Albert County. But what came of both of those conversations was that there's already so much going on in the province that do we really need to reinvent the wheel? And we don't. We don't need an e-commerce Albert County Chamber of Commerce Facebook page or website or whatever it may be. What we need to do is be providing our members with the information to get them on these other e-commerce websites. So there are a couple throughout New Brunswick where they're buy local websites where you can just jump on the site and you can have your stuff displayed there. So we've been providing all that information to our members whenever they need it. We're always here to mentor, to help you out when you're looking to get things started. And especially this last year when we had to move everything online, we've always been right here to help people as much as we possibly can in making that transition. And even if it just meant moving your bed and breakfast to Airbnb to find other ways to find people to stay, that's what we're here for. And that's what we like to do. And that's how we like to help out. So it has been a really great year. I'm excited to see what comes up in 2021 here for the Albert County Chamber of Commerce. And our Buy Local campaign is not going to slow down because it's something I'm extremely passionate about. So if there's anybody that's watching our AGM right now and you have any other great ideas that you would like to chat with me about, or if you wanted to sit on that board with me, that would be absolutely fantastic because I'm always looking for somebody in my back pocket. So that's it for your Buy Local campaign. Thanks.
Thank you, Tosh. And I know you're on here live, so I do want to give our lovely VP an opportunity to add any other comments that she would like. But I love, who else wants to be in Tosh's back pocket? So I can tell you one thing, I enjoy hanging out with her, recording a chamber chats every week. And I do want to say this, all of our members get the privilege of opportunity to have our energy pour into them, but our Buy Local campaign and the work that Tosh and the committee has done has really, to me, transcended a lot of what an average would do. I hope that any one of you have taken the opportunity, if you didn't see it on our awards, we'll also post a highlight reel of all the incredible podcasts that she has recorded with amazing people throughout our county, talking about what's happening. And it really is worth it. So Tosh, thank you for the additional work that you continue to do. And I'll constantly stay in your pocket and help you out anytime. So I want to welcome Lynn Kolpa, our amazing secretary, to give us a report on a little bit that's going on from their end. But Lynn and the team at Cyber PR Army are going to bring a bit of announcement as to how our audience has been growing. And thank you so much, Lynn.
Just on a side note, I did get the chat notes that some of you could not clearly hear what Tosh was saying. So I'll provide a link afterwards so that you can hear it. I couldn't adjust the volume internally here. So make sure that you guys get a link afterwards. For the secretary's report, very, very brief. We sent out notification a month in advance. We made it so that you needed to sign up and receive the Zoom link personally so that we could avoid any Zoom bombing. We held monthly board meetings and frequent executive meetings as needed. And I want to say a big thank you to Maria, who greatly assisted. Assist is even an understatement in keeping the notes. So that was lovely. I worked with Maria on setting up the accounting software. We had originally set up Wave and we moved it to QuickBooks, and we're still working on that to make a portal on the website that can accept credit cards. So it'll just be a little bit easier, and completing the documentation to update the nonprofit status information. It had not been updated. So Maria and I worked a little bit on it in the beginning, and then she kind of led with getting the rest of the documents done. So that was fantastic. And that was kind of it in a nutshell for a secretary's report. I also do social media and website maintenance for the Albert County Chamber of Commerce. And this is like a big 5-page document, so I won't go into too much detail other than we were really the technical support system to help with the excellent the Chamber Awards, the SWPP hiring initiative, and the day-to-day upkeep of the Chamber's online presence. As you can see, we kind of broke down traffic. We're getting really good bumps from everything. People are coming in from everywhere. Our general tasks were doing the newsletter, sharing, website updates, keeping the member directory updated. We created a new member-to-member benefit package. We assisted Maria with managing the inboxes. This is pretty much a list of all the things we did to help support the chamber in keeping the messaging out there, the opportunities out there, things that we put on the website, a member benefit sections, a community calendar, a social media guidelines page, a new link to careers. And we weren't as big a support to the chamber awards this year as we have been in the past, but we definitely supported when we could. And the AGM tonight, a dedicated page on the website and assets promoting it. So that is it in a nutshell. And this will be submitted with the official AGM documents so that you can review if you would like, or if you have any questions. That's the end of my report. So what I would like to do now is to invite Nick Butlin from AB Connect to talk about the Regional Connectivity Committee and what has been happening with them. So take it away, Nick.
Thank you so much, Lynn. A huge list of things that you've been doing. Of course, I'm following the rock star of getting things done with my little report. So thank you for putting me after you. But no, honestly, everybody's doing great work. I'm not alone when I say that everybody on the board, wherever we are, whenever we're in conversations, we're speaking on behalf and to promote the region and to just better inform the community of what's happening and what's available out there so that we can just have a unified front. So just to let you know a little bit about the Regional Connectivity Committee report, I will have an actual document because there were some last minute updates that I can have sent with the follow-ups. That's no problem. It is fairly fresh, so there isn't a whole lot to report, but I do want to let you know about the vision of the committee, that is to broaden our communication and connections amongst the communities of Albert County. And that goes from Alma to Elgin. We want to be better connected and informed of what is happening in Albert County, as well as the individual community needs. I have been in communication with the former Community Strengthening Initiative that was formerly based in Riverside, Albert, with Forestdale Nursing Home, as well as Michelle. We've done that for some time, but they've actually dissolved last fall, and they were hoping to reignite, I guess would be a word, in March of 2021, but we still haven't had an update. So should that take back off, we'll certainly be part of that conversation. They're aware that we're interested. A lot of information, a lot of great steps we're taking there. And it's almost continuing in a sense with CCRC, Shippity Community Revitalization Committee. They have a welcome committee that they put together with a lot of the same or similar, I suppose, initiatives to welcome, greet, and make people aware of what services are available in the communities, and just to make sure that newcomers do feel like they're greeted and welcome when they arrive. Albert County Chamber of Commerce supported CCRC on the welcoming committee, and with our student Jacob helping with the research, and we certainly look forward to working across the region to welcome newcomers to the area as well. So we're continuing that conversation as much as possible. I've also met and had conversations to further elevate the Funday Fresh brand, which is very exciting with the product offerings within and beyond Albert County. So stay tuned for some great developments on this project. And now that we have the municipal election results that are in, we will be able to continue to build on our growing relationships with each municipality within the county. So we're very excited to welcome the new and returning mayors and to expand the growth and success of our regions. And that's it.
I gotta get my host on mute. Thank you, Nick.
No problem.
I don't know if a lot of people, there's 30,000 people, maybe give or take a few in the region of Albert County. And as we're leading into, and thank you all for the report. So I want to give a brief on committee as I move over to, Paul's going to talk about our nominations and a few of the wonderful members that are going to be put their names forward to join our board tonight. A conversation, as we've constantly, Tosh and I every week are always asking everybody to come on board. Literally come on the board and be a member. But this year, Marie and I were sitting back and we strategically reached out into the region prior to the municipal elections. And I want to thank all of the individuals. We heard back from everybody, but there's a few individuals that are here this evening that have asked for their names to stand up. I think you can tell by the reports from my colleagues that we have done a lot of work of listening. And I'll quote a very good friend of ours, a member, Darlene Smith. We've been on a listening tour. And we've been doing a lot of that, and we're ready to take a lot of action. And I'm proud to introduce one of our newest and most active board members from last year, Paul Bass, who has taken and stepped up and helped out with following up with all of you wonderful individuals and many others about what our nominations report will bring. But it's not without working with all of the individual organizations that have been mentioned this evening that it happens. So between, ACTA, the Albert County Tourism Association, CCRC for the Chippewa Community Restoration Committee, connecting Albert County and us promoting what's going on in their region and their jobs, and reaching out with a strategic plan that we've just finished. We're really excited about what that means and what it means to bring on new board members, new life, more drawing from the 4 unique municipalities that we have. And we're really excited to continue to work with the Greater Moncton and Atlantic and Canadian chambers as well. So, Nick, thank you. I can tell you we have a seniors and youth committee that will be coming up as well, that we're actively looking at continuing to engage all generations and all areas within our beautiful community that stems. So Paul Bass, I would like to ask him to come up and take the next portion to talk about our nominations, our current executive, and the welcoming of some new members. So Paul, if you're ready, I'm going to turn the microphone over to you.
Good evening, everyone. At this time, I would like to note that the executive of the Albert County Chamber of Commerce remains unchanged from the previous year, 2020. Michelle Alcorn will serve as chair, Tosh Taylor as vice chair, and Lynn Colpow as secretary. Since there is no change in the chamber office, there is also no need for a swearing-in process this year. Reoffering for another one-year term, along with the executive mentioned, are Jasveer Shukla, Jazzfest, and Paul Bass, HR professional, and Anik Robichaud Butlin with AB Connect. And also offering as new directors for 2-year term for 2021 and 2022 would be Scott Milburn for Scott's Kitchen and Gourmet Sauces, Chris McDonald for Keller Williams, and Joseph Gangu, teacher from Anglophone East, and John Coughlin, counselor of Ward 2. So could I have a motion to approve the slate of directors?
I'll move. Oh, Maria.
And Lynn Colpow is seconded. So all those in favor?
Aye.
Unless you're opposed?
Aye.
And the motion carries.
And the motion carries. Thank you, Paul. We have a few minutes, but I would like to offer a thank you and welcome to the new board members that will be coming on board. I will offer everybody to say hello and thank you at the end of the meeting. So we're going to move along with our agenda, but I can tell you one thing. I am very, very proud of each and every one of you for stepping up to say hello. It's great to see all of you here. And as we had said before, we're looking forward to bringing our board up to a board of directors of 9 members to continue to serve this community in moving forward. And it's not without the support of everybody to get here. So I do have to state a few comments for record. Our next item of business is to ratify the actions of the board of directors since our last annual general meeting, which was hosted in September of 2020, was recorded since 2019. May I have a motion to now ratify the decisions and the actions of the board of directors since our last AGM and accept the new slate? Oh, Paul's on mute, so I'm
Paul, you're
gonna
on mute.
smile.
Sorry.
Go ahead, Paul.
Tosh Taylor has moved and Darlene Smith has seconded.
Thank you all and welcome. We are very, very ecstatic to have you and to say that, and I mean, I should know this date and I'm going to actually look at my June calendar. Should be calling for support just to let everybody know that June 21st, we will have our next board of directors meeting and we'll be looking forward to having all of you join us. And I am really proud and excited to introduce our guest speaker for this evening. John Wishard is someone I've had the privilege knowing for many years. I had the privilege, he wasn't there at the time, but I served for 4 years on the board of directors of the Greater Moncton Chamber of Commerce. And I'd like to say to everybody, I feel like I cut my teeth on that board. And for 4 years of serving it, John, it was an extreme privilege. So when I was stepped in to serving on this board a few years ago, I took much of what I had learned from my days with the Greater Moncton Chamber. And we continue to admire our partner and our brother. And this past year, it's been incredible to work with you at the Atlantic Chamber level and what's going on provincially. I know Maria and I have had a great chance to meet with John. John was also invited. Jennifer Kicker is a guest that's here this evening, who just finished doing our strategic plan from 21 to 2024. And John and his team were incredibly important in giving us guidance as to how we continue to have this region be powerful and strong together. So John, who gives me, I thought, oh, that's a great length of bio. He had it in French and English. John, you might have one of the shortest bios for the incredible work that you have done, but I am going to read off a bit of it. So John Wishard is the Chief Executive Officer of the Chamber of Commerce of Greater Moncton. He spent the first 34 years of his career in journalism, rising from a reporter to an editor and the editor-in-chief in Brunswick News Incorporated, which is, I know, another reason why he's so good at listening to what's going on. And and I will quote you again, Darlene, he's great on that listening tour. He served as a Director of Communications and Policy, and he was appointed as CEO in 2018. And he serves on so many regional committees and boards. In his spare time, which I'm not sure how much of that is, he enjoys sports, politics, and sometimes they're part of the same thing. I love the fact that you love genealogy. So I'm sure 175 years in knowing that one of the prime ministers is from our region, it's probably pretty cool for you to understand. And let's just mention the Steve's family reunion. We can't have an Alberta County and to say what the genealogy that came out of that, but being a good Alcorn from Alberta County. I love my genealogy as well, John. Thank you so much for the time that you spent, and we're looking forward for you sharing tonight.
Thanks very much, Michelle. I have to say off the start that I feel a certain connection with Alberta County. My family's descendants were shipbuilders from Scotland who arrived in St. Martin's in about 1846. And I know shipbuilding was big in Alberta County 150 years ago as well. So I'm sure my great-great-granddad probably was in like Hopewell or someplace like that over the years. I also want to give a shout out to, I see a few people on the call today are wearing orange, so that's a great show of respect. So kudos on that. And my last shout out on what they're wearing goes to Chris McDonald for wearing the right hockey sweater tonight. So way to go, Chris. Now with that, I did want to, first of all, thank Michelle and the board for inviting me just to spend 10 minutes and tell you a little bit about what our chamber has been up to over the last year and what we've sort of seen during the worst of COVID, what we see moving forward. And maybe I'll close off by just one slide here in my presentation on how our two chambers might be able to work together on something on the advocacy side that I think will benefit everyone in Greater Moncton and Albert County. So I've titled my presentation 1 year later, Going Green After COVID-19. I think there's a folk song in there somewhere, but I won't be the one to write it. So anyway, I think, is Lynn controlling the PowerPoint? If so, if she can go to the next slide. Okay, so just first of all, a little bit about the chamber that I represent. The chamber here in Greater Moncton has about 800 members. And like you, I was really impressed by the amount of work that you did in 2020. You know, a lot of different initiatives around support local and the importance of retaining your members during a really tough year for all of us. And for us, we lost a net of 6 members in 2020. So, you know, that we had some drops, but we had some new members and some businesses that actually started in 2020, you know, for those who were really brave. And so really our own story was one of sustainability and resiliency in 2020. And I thought I'd show this stat. Statistics Canada has some, they call it experimental data, but it showed that 144 businesses closed in what's called the Moncton Census Metropolitan Area, which includes, you know, a lot of Albert County, not just Riverview, but Hillsborough and Hopewell and some other communities. So 144 businesses closed in 2020. Some of those were temporary and some of those were permanent. So it'll be really interesting to see the stats at the end of 2021 to see if that number will shrink or whether it will increase. We know there's a lot of businesses that are still sort of on the edge, and every week means something, especially if you're, say, in the tourism and hospitality industry as we get closer to summer. So as I mentioned, our focus in 2020 was all about communication and advocacy. You know, we couldn't hold events, literally. We held lots of events like this on Zoom, but not that in-person type that's so important for connection and networking among business owners. But so I hate to use the word pivot, so I won't. I didn't really say that. We transitioned to communication. Every day we sent out an email brief saying, here's the latest what's happening with government public health guidelines. Here's the latest government support for business, things you should know in all the different health zones. And then we followed that up with a lot of advocacy. You know, we've been on the phones and email and trying to twist government arms for the last 15 months, sometimes with some success, sometimes to deaf ears. But it really was a year of, like I said, of resiliency. And as 2021 reaches the midway point, I think we can start to talk about recovery. And that's a more hopeful, optimistic word than, you know, resiliency is all about holding on and you know, gutting it out through the worst. Recovery is a little bit about what's ahead. So if we can go to the next slide. So what's the economic story in New Brunswick? Obviously, you know, we've done a great job really keeping our case numbers low. You know, New Brunswick unveiled its reopening plan last week. And, you know, the big question I think all of us are asking is, can we really go green by August 2nd? I think that's a pretty aggressive and optimistic and hopeful date. But I just read today before I jumped on the call that we're already a little bit behind in meeting our June 7th target of 75,000 with a first dose. That requires about 10,000 of us getting the jab every day, and we're not quite at that rate yet. So we all need to encourage those around us to get that done. When it comes to employment across the province, you know, the first couple of months of COVID-19 were really tough. We lost 50,000 jobs between March and May, but between May and June, we recovered all but 1,500 of those. And so it was a very quick rebound in New Brunswick. Now, if you talk to your friends in Ontario or Alberta, they're still hurting. You know, they've been in lockdown for months and months and months. So we can look with some hope about how quickly we did rebound. Now, obviously, some sectors are having a harder time than others. You know, I'm sure there are some people on the call today who are in the tourism and hospitality industry. And other than the staycationers, you know, you didn't see a lot of visitors in 2020. And so that's why it's so important that we work to reopen our borders, not just within Atlantic Canada, but hopefully to the rest of Canada and then to the US as soon as possible, so we can get some of those tourists driving down Route 114. And, you know, once the Fundy Trail Parkway is finally, knock on wood, finished, we can really enjoy the fruits of everything that you've done in Albert County to prepare for that. Restaurants and bars, you know, 50% occupancy has really been tough. Easier in the summer with patios, really tough in the middle of January. Events, arts and culture, you know, festivals, events, you know, I know you had activities planned for Albert County's 175. And so, you know, that was a tough hit on that sector. And of course, our airports are still at, you know, 10 or 50% of their normal activity. Maybe surprisingly, you know, retail sales really did rebound pretty well and are almost at pre-COVID levels. So there's a lot of really inventive people who jumped on the digital bandwagon early. If they weren't there, they really transitioned quickly, and they made up for what they lost in in-person sales. And then our exports, especially early in the pandemic, they really did lag. And the two sectors that were lowest were oil products and frozen French fries. And you may wonder why those two. Oil, because during the first 6 months of the pandemic, a lot of that gas and oil that was shipped to the States, people weren't driving as much, so the demand wasn't there. And the same with French fries. You know, McCain sells to some of the biggest fast food chains in the world. People weren't eating out as much. So they've started to bounce back, by the way, partially thanks to my own consumption of French fries. So here's a look at the employment recovery. We had 361,000 people working in New Brunswick in February of 2020. You see that rapid decline to April, 50,000 jobs lost. And then the just as rapid recovery, not quite to the 361, but within striking distance. And then the last year has really been a bit of a slow but steady increase. And by the end of March, we were, like I say, within striking distance of that pre-pandemic number. So that's overall a good story. So what's been the story in Southeast New Brunswick? You know, the unemployment rate among that Moncton CMA, which includes a lot of Albert County, was among the lowest 3 in Canada through the first 6 months of the pandemic. Over the last 6 months, our employment has kind of slowed and we've crept up to the middle of the pack nationally. And there's a lot of chatter about CERB into, you know, a fairly rich EI program. Is that dissuading some people from re-entering the workforce, especially in the service sector where, you know, wages are lower? So it'll be interesting to watch that as we get into the second half of 2021. Immigration obviously slowed as well. You know, we just couldn't let as many people in. You know, our region had close to 2,000 new permanent residents in 2019, which was an all-time high. But that was almost cut in half in 2020. It was still the highest of any region in the province, by the way. And, you know, just to show you where we need to get, economist David Campbell is predicting that we'll need net new 12,000 immigrants a year by 2027, just to offset the baby boomers who are going into retirement. So that's a pretty lofty goal. And although on the positive side, I really get the sense that once we're safe from a health perspective, you will see people around the world who will look at Canada, who will look at New Brunswick, who will look at Southeast New Brunswick and say, that's a safe place to live and there are jobs, so I'm moving there. So I think as long as IRCC can process all those people who want to come here, we will see quite a population boom moving forward. And then of course, you know, if you've been trying to buy a house recently, good luck. You have to be fast and you have to spend a lot of money. If you're selling your house, you're probably going to make some money. Real estate market has never been like this in this region. And building permits overall were pretty healthy in the region too in 2020, despite what was happening. So next slide. So here's just a chart that shows the immigration trend to the southeast part of the province. over the last 6 years. 2016, you saw the jump there. That was the year of the Syrian refugees, so that number was higher. And then from 2018, 2019, you see that increase, almost 500 more each year. And I'm sure we would have been 2,400 in 2020 if not for COVID. And I think we will get there pretty quickly. Next one. And overall, our population, same deal. You know, the region's population growth rate is somewhere between 1.2 and 1.5% now per year. It wasn't that long ago when we were well under 1%. And once again, David Campbell saying, if we can maintain a 1.3 to 1.8% population growth rate over the next 10 years, this region will be in good shape. We'll have enough workers to power the economy and to fill those jobs that we know are going to need to be filled. Next one. So what does the next year hold, and how sustainable is our economy now? A lot of economic analysts predict that, you know, we will see a pretty robust economy recovery in New Brunswick this year and next. You know, our GDP fell by 4% last year. Wasn't the worst in Canada. If you go to some of the bigger provinces, they really took a bigger hit. But, you know, RBC saying 6.1% rebound, Scotiabank 4.2, and the Conference Board 3.4. So overall, pretty bullish on our short-term economy at least. Although a full recovery to pre-COVID times is probably going to extend well into 2022. And our airport, you know, likely 3 to 4 years before that gets back. And the big question there is, you know, I won't say I can't wait to jump on a plane. I can wait, but I'm looking forward to travel. But if you're a business operator, are you going to think twice about sending your person to Toronto for a meeting, or are they going to meet with their colleagues on this? So you might see business travels remain weak. And then commercial construction may be a bit slow because of this shift to remote work. I mean, all of us have been working from home at least some of the time in the last year. A lot of us will continue to work from home. So what does that mean for, you know, a commercial landlord that has 100,000 square feet in, you know, downtown Moncton or in Riverview? You know, weaker demand and falling prices may result. On the flip side, you know, if you know, you drive around Moncton for sure lately, and Riverview is also seeing this, multi-unit residential construction is through the roof. There's cranes everywhere, and there's more to come. And that's a reflection of vacancy rates being 2% or less, and the fact that our population continues to grow. So we need some place to house these people. So that probably will continue. This one is a little bit harder to see, but I wanted to include it. It's about consumer confidence and narrative research, which has been around for a long time. They used to be called CRA, not Revenue Agency, Corporate Research Associates. Since 2000, they've been measuring consumer confidence in Atlantic Canada. And this sort of teal bar shows the ups and downs of consumer confidence over that time. And you can see some of the dips, like 9/11, obviously it was lower, the Iraq War, budgets, 2008-9, the Great Recession, that really fell there. And if you go right to the right of this graph, COVID-19 and the pandemic. Now they've only measured from last year, August of 2020, and then February 2021, but you see the rebound already. And I'll be really interested to see what that number looks like in August of this year. I suspect we'll be probably beyond the 90% rate and going higher. Next one. So what will the focus of certainly our chamber be? And I think, you know, Albert County's chamber probably will be in line with this as well. Our chamber is a member of something called the Southeast Economic Recovery Task Force, which was formed early in the pandemic, and it brings together municipalities. John Coughlin would know that the town of Riverview is a member, and other groups like our chamber, 3Plus, Downtown Moncton, ONB, Working NB. And we really developed a bit of an action plan to focus on 3 priorities that we saw. One was helping the hardest hit sectors like tourism. 3Plus is leading that action. Downtown vitality. I need to tell you about a couple of surveys we did about downtown Moncton, and we estimate up to 2/3 of the regular downtown workforce has been working from home during COVID-19. So you can imagine, you take that many people out of downtown on a daily basis, what that does to restaurants and cafes and bars. And not all those people are coming back. So we need to find a way to offset that. I think on the flip side, the fact that we're seeing more multi-unit residential construction downtown, maybe more people will be living downtown. They won't necessarily be working downtown. So there might be a bit of a trade-off. And then here at our chamber, we really focused on communication, education, and advocacy. And on advocacy, you know, we really are trying to stress on the need for a variety of supports to sustain members of the business community through this last leg of COVID-19. So next. Okay, so what does business need to recover? It needs a lot of things. It needs people. It needs people to be able to move around, open borders. But balancing that public health and public or economic health is really a difficult feat. I don't envy Dr. Russell or the Premier or anybody who's tasked with that over the last 15 months, because you move a little bit too much one way and you get whacked. You move a little bit the other way, same thing. We've really been lobbying for targeted provincial programs for those hardest hit sectors. And there were some changes made just last week to the Small Business Recovery Grant Program that OMB has, which provides up to $5,000 in support. But the original program had a lot of flaws and the criteria was so tight, it was really impossible to get much help. They've loosened it a bit, but they didn't go all the way. So we'll continue to lobby for some changes there. Obviously, the whole digital transformation bit is super important. You know, I was talking to, here in the region, they had a burger week in January, which ended up being 3 weeks of burger week. I think it was Cheers Beverage Room was saying they were selling at the peak about 100 burger meals a day online with curbside. So you can imagine 100 meals a day times say $15 per. That's a good revenue during the worst of COVID-19, the middle of winter. So those sorts of inventive ideas really have stood out. We need to leverage our relative safety as a place to live and work. And there's a campaign that's been afloat. It just ended. It was an 8-week pilot, and it targeted Toronto, Ottawa, Gatineau, and Montreal, and said to workers who could work anywhere, they didn't need to be in those locations, why don't you come to New Brunswick? Why don't you move here, do your work here, spend less on accommodations, have a great quality of life, you know, be 20 minutes from the beach or the rocks, and you know, really enjoy your work-life balance. And it's really paid off. This campaign in 8 weeks had over 3,000 people raise their hand in those 3 cities and go, you know what, we're kind of interested in that. Tell us more. Not all those people will move, but even if 300 of the 3,000 move, it's a great net gain. And we've heard a lot on the call tonight about support local. Can't stress that enough. And that's one of the good things I think that'll come out of COVID. I think we'll continue to think local, not just in the short term, but in the medium and long term, and we should. And that also includes to more local supply chains. You know, what COVID showed us, in which, you know, if you tried to buy a car or a piece of furniture or something, if it's made somewhere else, it's hard to get that inventory. I was talking to somebody from Lounsbury's the other day, and, you know, there's a component, it's a computer component for cars, and there's a great backlog. So people are waiting months for the vehicle that they want. So the more we can source local, the better it will be for everyone. And the next one, which I think might be the last slide. Yeah. So, you know, I'm an outsider to your AGM and to your chamber, but I really, even in the last hour, I've appreciated what I've heard about what you've done. And I see a couple of priority advocacy issues for Albert County businesses that include better roads and infrastructure and better broadband internet. And I guess we've kind of dubbed this the Albert County infrastructure gap. And how do we attack that? Closing that gap for you as business owners from Alma to Riverview helps all of you, plus all of Greater Moncton as well. And so I really want to sort of leave you with this sort of pitch that I would love to see our chamber and your chamber work together on this issue at least, and maybe make it a priority for both of our groups in the next year. And we're prepared to work with you in partnership on this, with, you know, hammering the need to improve these services to both the provincial and federal governments. So with that, I will stop talking. And if anybody has any questions, I'm happy to answer them or try to answer them. But once again, I really appreciate the invitation to join you tonight.
Thank you, John. Really well put. And I really appreciate you saying all those additional things that need to be put into the report and the statistics. John's been a tremendous partner, as I said earlier, as has everyone. So my closing remarks are simple. John, you summed it up well. We are all in this together. It has impacted all of us. And it's interesting because I have this written down many times in a lot of conversations. We are all in the supply chain of life, every one of us. And it's a really beautiful place to be. And it's a privilege for all of us to have that opportunity. And, you know, there's things that are social currency, and it's a currency of caring, and those, the tide rising all boats the same. But we do need to help each other. And it's not without us being smarter, not duplicating services, resourcing ourselves more appropriately. And I think that that's really what's going to be partnerships, maximizing our resources that we have, the individuals that have joined. Joseph, Scott, Chris, and John, thank you for trusting to step up and to say yes when a lot of people aren't saying yes right now because they're scared and they don't know. I do have orange on for the record. I don't own a lot of orange. I went looking and realized afterwards, but I have an orange striped shirt. And I do love seeing the sea of orange out in front of us tonight and today. And because I believe that Atlantic Canadians are givers, we care. And there are statistics that I could rattle off all day, but do you know that our region continues to give more in Canada than anywhere else? And for that makes me very proud. As I used to live across this big, beautiful country of ours, I worked in every province extensively for years and supervised people across it. And I always used to say a boatload of Maritimers would make my day great every day. So I appreciate being on this ship and this boat with each one of you and all of our amazing members that aren't able to make it here tonight, but I know tune in and listen in. Josh and I will continue to entertain them. We need to know what's going on with each one of you is a message that we have. And we do want to hear from and the voice of each one of our new board members, our existing board members. And John, we are so excited about the future and continued partnerships with the Greater Moncton Atlantic Canadian Chamber. Again, connecting Albert County, ACCA, CCRC, Fun Day Fresh. We could talk about food all day, but I will tell you this, let's nourish ourselves. And I just want to say, there's only one line of business that there is for tonight, and that would be for me to adjourn the meeting. I'm going to give a huge thank you to my incredible board, Tosh, Lynn, Jazz, Paul, Anik. We're small, we're mighty, it's incredible. To Micah Farty, who's our past chair, who had to, for many reasons, step down, but continues to be here in spirit. To Lisa Brown, for so many years of service. And she messaged me minutes before this meeting. They're in the farmhouse running around. She was trying to find someone to jump on, to know that they are always there in spirit, and to every single business person in our community. Thank you. So unless there's any further business, I will formally call our 2021 annual general meeting for the Albert County Chamber of Commerce to an adjournment. I should put your microphones on so I can actually hear that. Can I just say that? That might be like one of those quiet things. There we go.
Congratulations.
Well done.
So I think that it is formally, Maria, I'm going to ask you, do we need a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Yes, we do.
Yeah. So
That's it. Yeah, we'll adjourn. It's yeah, for 2020. Yep. A
So I
motion to
will-
adjourn.
Thank you, Maria. The 2020 annual general held in the middle. I'll have to have a motion to adjourn, and we've got Maria and Nick. Thank you, and for all the support. And if anybody wants to stay If we were sitting around a meeting group, we go to the bar. There's the good
We still
Atlantic.
can.
With the go to the bar. Jazz is laughing. That is so in Atlantic Canadian, the and the bar. And have a drink, but I certainly will sit for a few minutes, and I would invite any of to say hello, but our new board members will have lots of a voice because Tosh and I are going to be putting you on a podcast.
I'll just say something real quick.
Please,
I'll just say something real quick. You know, I'm just thankful for you guys to give me the opportunity to, you know, just really help out Riverview and the business community. And hopefully that, you know, some of my expertise I can pass along, you know, being a teacher and being involved in construction and everything else would help, you know, help out Riverview, because that's the reason why I thought I'd get on this board and try to really see what happens. I got a lot of work to do. I have a lot of learning to do. I see like you guys have a great board already, and I'm just going to just be an addition to what's already great. So always blessed. You guys have a great night. I'm going to get out of here. Take care now. All right. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Joe.
See you later, guys.
I want to say hello to everybody, and I'm really happy to be on the board. And all I can say, I got one word to say: opportunities. So many opportunities that's going to be happening all around our great area. So I'm really happy to be asked to participate, and it's good to see Joe and Chris on board too. And I'm really excited about it, guys. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
You're so right.
Chris, I see you unmuted.
Yeah, I was hoping you didn't notice that. Not much to add there, guys. I think everybody summed it up really nicely and really well. I love what John says about opportunities, because it is true. As an incoming member of the board, the first thing that I want to see is a concise list of all the businesses that we have approached that maybe haven't said yet. Maybe those ones that are still on the fence. But also, you know, kind of tackle those down, and just a great opportunity for me. And I'm going to look forward to doing it, just spending a lot of time on the road and driving all over the place. I don't know if many of you might have saw my Facebook post from this afternoon, but I spent some time in Havelock this afternoon. And on my way back, I saw the Petitcodiac region sign. And I was just like, you know what? I'm taking the long way back. So just enjoyed it, and was fun. You know, if I would have had that information beforehand, I would have popped into some places in Elgin and so forth, and just popped in, said hi, introduced myself and stuff. So I'm going to look forward to doing that and helping this organization grow and grow throughout the region. And let's do it all together.
Thank you, Chris.
Go Leafs.
Go Leafs. There you
It's
go.
really warm in this jersey or this sweater. I got to tell you that too. But
Wonderful. If there's any other comments, like I said, we can stay for a minute, but I just really want to say thank you. Scott's our hot sauce guy, that he'll welcome you with sauce.
Yeah.
But John, it's been a privilege, and I look forward to